Everyone, and welcome to a Time Shifters Podcast independent film highlight. This is your host, Christopher, and with me, as always, is my good friend and co-host, Tom. Tom, how have you been?
Not too shabby.
Today, we have a film that was written and directed by Michael Thordarson called The Guard Room from 2026. It stars Olga Molina and Michael Fredinelli. There you go. In the film, in order to help make ends meet, Hilda takes a security job on the graveyard shift for a local warehouse district. What her could-not-care-less trainer Lucas fails to tell her is that the guard she replaced, James, was killed in the parking lot under mysterious circumstances. As strange happenings begin to plague her shift, she investigates what might have happened to James. This was actually sent to us by the writer and director of the film, and I thank him very much for doing so. I have to admit there, Tom, I actually really liked this.
Did you now?
I did. I actually really did like this film, but
Yeah.
it's a little longer than it needs to be, is my initial thoughts. What are your initial, what's your initial opinion on this one?
I wanted to like this, but it was slow. There's a lot of padding in it. Lots of unnecessary time with her just making her way through her day, and ultimately, I struggled with some of the motivations in this film. Like it kind of comes off like you're getting a ghost story a little bit, but then you get the Scooby-Doo aspect of she's going to investigate what's going on, only there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of motivation to investigate this. I don't know. It needed work. I liked what was being proposed. I don't think the execution went well.
All right, interesting. Okay. No, I actually really liked the mystery as it was laid out. I found myself, and it's rare, but it's one of those mystery films where I'm sitting here the whole time trying to figure it out for myself before the characters do. I'm watching the film and I'm seeing new characters come in and I'm thinking, he's guilty. Nope. This is a red herring. They're all in there. The film has all this stuff, and I actually really liked it. I do agree that there is some padding. That's what I was saying, where this film is just a little too long. The montage that, her going through the day and cleaning up the office and all that stuff goes on for a little too long. We see someone who is, and I'm not going to try not to spoil much of this film or whatever, but we see someone like setting up a small pup tent, and we see him like literally taking it out of the package, undoing the straps, unfolding everything, getting the sleeping bag, undoing the straps. Like, I think if you had just had him walking up with the tent, we get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another scene, we see somebody, something happens in the parking lot. So we see the person get back in the car back up, the car turn, the car drive away. It's like, you could imply a lot in this film without having to show all the details.
See, that just suggests somebody that understood the greatness of James Nguyen and followed in his footsteps. Birdemic was the way, and that was the way that this movie wanted to go.
This film was far, far better than Birdemic.
No. I would never quite malign it quite like that. But no, without, again, giving anything away, the person who is in the wrong here could have just stayed that way. Never needed to be caught for anything, never needed to lead anything on, because there was no motivation for him to do any of the things that he was doing after the fact.
Oh, I don't know, in his own mind, I think it was his own guilt that was driving him to making some very bad decisions. And you don't always, he wasn't a reasonable thinker, even sober. And many of the, at most moments, he's not. So I think I get it. I get that. I understand that. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, and even if you go with that, our heroine who turns sleuth doesn't seem to come from a sleuthy kind of background, because this is a woman that talked about all the other terrible jobs that she had, and that this one was going to be at least quiet and it won't involve a whole lot. And then again, low budget, you work with what you got. I get all that, but maybe you needed to find a different home for her to go to too. For somebody that's working the night shift as a security guard and all that, she's coming home to a very nice house.
Yeah, she did have her own home. You're right. She should have just been in a small apartment somewhere. Maybe.
A beater kind of place, something. She didn't look like, given the type job she's working at, that wasn't something that looks like she could afford.
Well, we don't know what she did prior. She could have been married once and got the house in the divorce.
All of these are fair.
Husband
but we
could have died.
We also don't get like actual character development.
Well, we certainly don't get much in the way of her past or anything. We uncover quite a few other people's pasts, but we don't really learn a whole lot about her.
No, but when that's your heroine, it's a little,
true.
It's a little off-putting. We spent a lot of time with her for not having learned much about her.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You kind of wish that she had a home life, a family life, or something like that would give a little bit of exposition into who she is versus just the woman that shows up every night for the graveyard shift at this complex.
Right, and other than some of the other players in this, if no one had like even harassed her a little bit during it, she wouldn't know any different to do anything. So, like I said,
yes,
the motivation that, like I said, you had to actually tip her off and get her curious about something to even go down any of this path, and you could have avoided all of that by not doing it.
I do wish there was I wish they had chosen a different way to get her involved and have her learn about the previous guard.
Yes.
We have Little Miss exposition that shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, oh, so you're the guard that replaces the one that died. Like,
right.
You could have easily, this would have been in the news. You could have easily had her just working her shift and then watching the news. And then when there was the new big news story, again, I don't want to spoil anything. Right. You just rewrite the script that our news anchor is telling, and mention something about after the death of so and so at the I forget the name of the facility, the Prospect Warehouse District or whatever, and have that tweak something like, hey, what? Someone died here? And then do the Google thing and let her find out that way, not introduce another character that has no bearing in the film other than to, and this is what happens next.
and this is where I also had to go, what decade was this supposed to take place in that it was okay for the character to walk around calling pizza za? I thought that died before it even started.
Just saying people that go around around my neighborhood saying they live in the natty.
Yeah, again, another trend that never really was, but there are those that fight hard to make it. But yeah, that stuff like that was just tripping me out. But But yeah, I think underlying in all of this, there was a good idea. I just didn't feel like by the time I was done, I was ready for it to be done.
Nope, fair enough. No, I, with the exception, the points that I have mentioned and everything, I did enjoy it. Yeah. I thought, it was pretty well acted for the most part for a lot of people who, they're not names you're going to see. They're not going to be faces you see in IMDb, that sort of thing.
I thought they did a fine job. With the exception of the newscaster, because that one also struck of the the Birdemic kind of thing. It just completely disjointed, clearly reading something off to one side.
I've said before that there's line readings and there's reading the lines.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the low budget of this film does show itself on multiple occasions. We have our quote unquote officer who looks like he stepped out of a Spirit Halloween.
Actually, it didn't look like they could afford to go to Spirit Halloween. Like that hat that they had him in was insane.
Oh, yes. But he was there. I mean, they needed the character.
Sure.
The character needed to be there, and you just sort of have to squint, I guess, to try to make it as far as the appearance. But
those that had to play their parts for the that were key parts for the most part did pretty well. Not polished, but serviceable acting. But then yes, you have your you're like my sister's cousin's brother's former roommate. I can make you the sheriff. There was a bit of that.
Well, as of now, I don't think The Guard Room is officially streaming or anything anywhere. Like I said, it was sent to us by the writer and director here. I believe he is trying to find some distribution. I will put a link in the show notes to his website, and you can, if you're lucky, you can go and check out The Guard Room from 2026 yourself. If you do get a chance to watch it, please come back and let us know what you thought. Leave any comments you have below any post that you see this episode, or send an email to timeshifterspodcast@gmail.com. I want to thank Michael again for sending us the film. Really appreciate it. That's going to do it for this episode. We'll be back soon with a full episode. Until then, bye, everybody.
See ya.